To enhance the learning experience of students, foster creativity, and provide essential tools for the academic journey, the Old Students Association of Festa Grammar School has presented educational materials to the students of the school. The convener of the initiative, Godfrey Williams-Okorodus, encouraged the general public to participate in shaping the future by contributing to the education of young children. According to him, investing in the future of the young mind is critical to uplifting the next generation.
The idea behind this initiative is to let us, the general public, know that in our own little way, we can contribute to the future of the country by investing in the children. In that vein, we will also distribute sketch pads to students that are creative, to also encourage art and their creative prowess amongst the students, because sadly, art is not being given a place of precedence in our public schools these days. So I am also using this opportunity to encourage art clubs and have government encourage art clubs and encourage the art education in our secondary schools.
We'll keep doing and backing up events by different sets and the entire FECSOSA body. Our prayers is that this school continues to go to greater heights and that our students keep becoming trailblazers and agents of transformation and agents of change as well in our society.
So joining us now is Godfrey Williams-Okorodus, a Belgium-based Nigerian artist and convener of Festa Grammar School Notebook Project. Williams-Okorodus is a practicing visual artist who started out with a studio in Surulere, Lagos, and later in Belgium, where his studio is currently located. Great to have you. Can you tell us more about this initiative, and congratulations to you?
Thank you.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, I was pondering how I would contribute positively to the advancement of education in my alma mater. Up till now, I've been a little bit, I've not been that involved in the alma mater. So I thought, okay, what are the things that students need? And these are notebooks. Bearing in mind that 40 years ago, during the UPN government, we got notebooks as school children. I was one of the first set of children to be used as guinea pig in the UPN free education system. So that means we had to go to schools that were less than adequate, I would say. I went to a private nursery school, but the Lagos State government decision then was that every child has to go to a school 1 kilometer away or less than a kilometer. So I went to the Jakonde school, like we call them then. It was an eye-opener, I would say. And for 5 years, we trudged through. And 40 years down the line, most of us are all over the world. But even then, we had notebooks given to us by the state government. I think it was done twice, and then they stopped. And since then, I don't think anything like that has been done. So most children in public schools these days, that is the biggest constraints their parents and guardians face, giving them notebooks. And then the quality of notebooks available in the market is very, very low. So I thought, okay, what am I going to do about it in my little way? So I first wanted to do, first start with the GSS students. I said, okay, if I can provide the GSS students with something, that will help. But you can't give the students in the GSS and not give the SS students. So I asked people to do market research for me. I found the price was around 400 naira for a 40-leaf notebook. So I thought, okay, what if we print? I'm a graphic artist by profession. What if we print them? And it turned out we could do it for much less. So now I had to call on friends, other old students to, do a fundraising. And a couple of weeks down the line, we were able to raise enough money to print 20,000 copies, wow, of which each child will get 10 notebooks. And as an extra, I decided to also print sketch pads for students that are, creative and would want to, art inclined. That are art inclined, and because most of our public schools don't have art teachers. I know most people don't realize this, but Nigeria is a country, that keeps on trying to sell science and technology to the world. We are just going to play tag. The West has already developed it. What we have that is unique to us is our art and culture. Because living in the West, I have seen enough to know that the West, they don't see us as technological giants or they see us, what they value in us is our art and culture. But sadly, in our countries, these are the areas that are, that are really lacking.
Well, first, should I say congratulate you or praise you? That would be a better word. And praise the Old Students Association. Because the Old Students Association, in many schools, they tend to go back, to give back.
Yes.
And it's good seeing somebody that went to a school that was called, schools that were called poultry sheds.
Poultry, yes, poultry.
They called,
yes, they are still called that.
So, but, and as you said, many of those people, product of Jakonde's vision, are all over the world, doing well, including your good self. Yes. So the good thing about the late LKJ Jakonde, former governor of Lagos State, was that vision that he had in the education sector. And it's good to see the fruit and sit at a table with one of those products. But I wanted to ask you, when many old students go back to their schools, they are shocked. The schools will have collapsed or the whole place will have been there. So when you went back to Festac Grammar School, I hope that was not your story. Did you see anything that shocked you about the quality of schools in Nigeria or the quality of the environment?
I have to admit, we are particularly lucky because of the land space we were given. Festac Grammar School. It is located in a part of Festac that made it impossible for them to sell out lands when they started to sell. So we still have, I think, the original land mass that we had when the school was opened over 40 years ago. And I have to say I was impressed, at least at the level of development so far. Most of which, of course, was carried out by the old students. But from what I've seen, the Lagos State government, they've put up one or two structures. Most of the poultry buildings are gone. Where we had where they now use as the hall, used to be one of those poultry buildings. And I saw that the original building where I did my class 1 is still there somewhere. So we still have two of the original Jakonde buildings, if we can call them that. But all in all, I think development in terms of infrastructure, visible infrastructure, I have not gone into their libraries or their laboratories to see what sort of equipment they have, but at least visible infrastructure, I would say it's above average. There is still room for improvement, of course. But what I even found more interesting is that the students are cleaner. Because when I saw them, they even had ties. When we joined, it was a struggle to keep our uniforms white. So what I saw yesterday was at least encouraging.
Let's talk about education. Apart from your donation, the need for education in our country looks as though governments, we've not had men as towering as Lateef Jakonde any longer, which, his vision we still talk about today. The man just died, I think, about a year and a half ago. But he was mocked then as poultry schools and everything.
Yes.
But he solved the problem and he created a legacy. Let's talk through that. And the fact that they've not, things like exercise book have not been given them again since the days of the Unity Party of Nigerian government.
It's, for me, because what it cost us to print 20,000 notebooks was just a little bit over 4.5 million naira. With, I would say, I am not an economist, so I don't know much about statistics and stuff. But I think the Lagos State government, we are buoyant enough to be able to provide schools with notebooks every single year. They can do it. And yesterday, nothing gives me pleasure as seeing the joy on the faces of children, especially children that I don't have any connection with. And we have a very interesting situation these days that I'm sure people are not well aware of. Most of the children that now go to public schools are children that are brought in from other places to take care of children going to private schools. Because 40 years ago, we had far less private schools than we have now. So most of us that went to private schools were, well, children that came from homes. But these days, people put their children in private schools and they go to places to bring other children in to take care of them. But of course, because it's the law, you have to take them to school. So these children are sent to public schools. Because yesterday, after the event, we had to wait a little bit. The principals were quite worried. And I was joking, I said, yeah, but these children are getting notebooks. He said, no. Most of them have to leave now so that they can go and pick. So you see, in the public school system, it is very, very, very important that help is given from both the public and the private sector.
You want to talk about what sort of quality of teaching did you have there? Because that's another problem. I think now with the sketch parts, do they even have arts teachers?
That's the thing we had. When the Jakonde schools were started in 1980, funnily enough, we had a larger crop of teachers. We had far more subjects. We were even we even had music. We had music. We had arts. My love of the art was encouraged because of the art teacher we had. But at that time, we also had an interesting situation. We had the Ghanaian teachers. We had a lot of Ghanaian teachers. So the special subjects, I would say, were taught by teachers that came from Ghana. Then a couple of years later, we had Ghana Must Go. So they all left. And then when they left, I think that was where the problem started for us in certain subjects.
You are an artist, right? And you were talking about art earlier on.
Yep.
I guess you were talking about visual arts.
Yes.
And the need for government to promote visual arts.
Yes.
Because even here in Lagos, the Lagos state government has been encouraging Nollywood, film, and all of that. But with your experience in Europe, you know, what do you think the Nigerian government should do, particularly at the level of policy?
Well, I would say encourage the education of art in public schools, certainly, both primary and secondary. First, that is the first step, that at least every school should have an art teacher. And then regular art competitions, regular art interactions with children, you know, mentoring systems. There are lots of things that can be done. There are lots and lots of things that can be done.
Well, on that note, we'd like to thank you very much, Godfrey Okorodus, and Okorodus. Okay, that's the correct pronunciation. So very good to meet you, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very, very, very much for giving us the opportunity at least to air our views on this very.
Thank you.